This is the Ethanol Report, the industry podcast from the Renewable Fuels Association since 2008. I'm Cindy Zimmerman. The Renewable Fuels Association recently elected as board chairman Jeff Oestmann, CEO of Aztalan Bio in Wisconsin, who's had a long career in ethanol and agriculture, including leadership roles at Granite Falls Energy, Syngenta, and East Kansas Agri-Energy. I'm speaking with Jeff right now, and first of all, Jeff, you've had a pretty diverse career in the industry, but tell us about where you are right now at Aztalan Bio.
We're a 120 million gallon a year facility located in Jefferson, Wisconsin, Johnson Creek, Wisconsin. It's a former Valero facility. Honestly, it's got a long history in that location. Used to be a old malting mill, Laddish Malting. It's been there's buildings on our property have been there 120 years or longer. So it's got an interesting history, and we built on that and what we've done. And you know, most people like to think, you know, we're just another ethanol plant, but we are doing some very unique things here at Aztalan Bio. We have one or two facilities, ethanol facilities in the world that has front-end dry fractionation. Our facility here in Jefferson and our sister facility in Hungary, just outside of Budapest. What we do is we separate the constituents of corn on the front side of the ethanol plant before it gets into fermentation. So we separate the germ, separate the starch, the brand, et cetera, and then we're able to take those products into new markets. For example, the germ transformed into food grade corn oil. Most ethanol plants remove the oil on the back end, and as it's already gone through fermentation, aren't allowed to take that into the food grade side of the business. We are, and we will be doing that shortly. We're also looking at other opportunities to turn the facility into an advanced biorefinery, looking at anaerobic digestion, for example, CO2 opportunities. We're looking at producing other food grade products similar to what our sister company is doing in Europe, and do things that, again, most of our industry has not done. And again, this is the stuff that we're doing is not a secret, nor will we keep it. It's stuff that I believe rest of our industry should be looking at. We want to lower the carbon score, but there are really good revenue opportunities for folks when they look at that. Again, anaerobic digestion, renewable natural gas is something that I know a lot of folks are looking at, and I'd love to have conversations with other in the industry to talk about that and how we expand what we do and to help the industry. The ethanol, it's not your mom and pa's ethanol company anymore. It's things have really changed, and I'm excited to be part of Aztalan Bio because we're doing a lot of the things that a lot of people are just talking about. We're actually putting these ideas to work, and you're going to see a major transformation of this facility that's been around, 120 years. And 5 years from now, it'll look completely different. And again, if you have an opportunity to look at our facility, Pannonia, in Hungary, you can see the progress they made in 10 to 12 years. We hope to do that in half the time.
Well, as you take on the role of RFA chair, what do you think are the most pressing issues facing the ethanol industry right now?
You know, the upcoming election, I think, will be pivotal for the ethanol industry. Regardless of who wins, we need to immediately establish relationships with the new leaders in Washington. The first 6 months of any new administration really we've seen it. These guys are trying to learn as much as we're trying to teach them. It's very chaotic, I guess. But I think organizations like the Renewable Fuels Association excel at getting out there and making those connections with the right policymakers. And on top of that, everyone talks about it, and it's the 45Z tax credit. Gosh, we need clarity in that. I mean, part of the Inflation Reduction Act is crucial incentive for the ethanol industry, but much remains unclear. Preserving and gaining further guidance on 45Z and other IRA credits is essential to promote our industry's growth. We're at a critical juncture where more specific direction from the IRS is necessary. And, along with that, the expansion of E15, the momentum has been amazing in the shift that we've seen, but we gotta get legislation. We gotta capitalize on the progress. Some of the recent actions are very, very positive. Obviously, we're still challenged in California. But I think I see that coming. I think securing a year-round E15 in California is within our reach as they advance new bills there. And finally, the RFS. I mean, it's the key component of our overall strategy. Again, we need to work closely with whoever the new administration is in Congress and just ensure that, these RVOs, renewable volume obligations, are set and beyond. So we have an idea of where we're going. We need a robust RVO for clarity and really the next looking into the future.
Let's look at the current state of the ethanol industry in this year, 2024. How would you characterize where the ethanol industry is at right now and what kind of year it's been?
Oh gosh, recovery, growth. I think would probably be two key words that come to mind. We had a really challenging years, 2018, 2020. COVID caused a lot of disruptions. The ethanol industry has, I think, quite honestly, rebounded very strongly over the past few years. We've experienced solid growth in both domestic and international demand. Um, and this recovery really is a testament to our industry's resilience and adaptability. But honestly, when you look short term, the next 3 to 6 months appears less favorable. Some markets are showing signs of softening the demand, while other ethanol production just remains high. I mean, it's the nature of our business. We got elevated stock levels, and we really got to find ways balancing our supply demand. This is crucial in the near term to avoid oversupply and really maintain market stability. It's something I've been watching for years, and something that I know everyone in our industry sees as a challenge. Although, with that said, I want to talk about exports. That's really been a bright spot. One area where I think the industry has seen significant success in 2024. This continued boom in ethanol exports has been a vital factor in maintaining the balance in the markets. And it's imperative that we continue to grow these international opportunities. And knowing that, the RFA recently joined the Climate Ethanol Alliance, which is a global organization that promotes, ethanol. It's not necessarily a trade organization. We're not trying to compete with any other folks, but it really it shows, the benefits of ethanol on a global perspective and how it relates to some of the decisions that are made at IEA, FAO, and other global organizations. We have a place. We need to have a place in this global dialogue. And RFA was a founding member of this Climate Ethanol Alliance, and I would encourage people to take a look at it and look at some of the work that they're doing. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, we're just making the export pie even bigger, and I'm excited.
Hey, wow, great point. Yes, ethanol's exports have definitely increased tremendously this year, and we have to look outside the United States for more market opportunities, especially if we move to electric vehicles as fast as they want us to. But RFA, the organization, has added a lot of new associate members recently, I've noticed. And how important are those stakeholders to the mission of the Renewable Fuels Association?
The associate members that really have grown and grown tremendously. A lot of the folks that we've seen join the RFA's associate members, I think, have a very diverse and honestly forward-thinking view to what we're trying to do. It's not just the numbers that are nowhere, but the diversity of the members. We've seen some of these folks that are collaborating with industry and partnering. At the end of the day, all these new members share a common goal, and that's reducing carbon intensity. And we continue to talk about that. And obviously, RFA's ambitious goal to achieve net zero by 2050, I think, has been a major catalyst for attracting these new members. The commitment that we've made has really resonated with companies that share the same vision and sustainability. And then lastly, I'll just say on these new members, the innovation that's coming from these new members is it really highlights the wave of what's happening in our industry. There is a stronger focus on developing these new co-products and improving operational efficiencies and exploring carbon reductions and those strategies. These innovations are crucial, I think, for our industry's long-term success.
Well, I know you already talked about some of the most pressing issues that are facing the industry right now, but over the next 2 years, let's look at that. What do you hope to see the ethanol industry accomplish during your time as RFA chair?
I've been part of the discussion on net zero carbon emissions for a long time, and I know that's one of our goals. And I like to really push that forward as an industry. I mean, getting to 70% by 2030, it will be a task. Reducing greenhouse gases by 70% will be a task. I truly think we can do it. The innovation out of our industry is nothing short of amazing. Always has been, which you find from this industry. We've made great progress, but we got a ways to go. And I think we can reach that milestone. And I really want to push that. Beyond that, I obviously people talk about E15 getting into California. And I want in the next 2 years, I want to see California with E15. I think that needs to be a priority. It always has been. It continues to stay there. It's been frustrating, um, but I think we can get there. Not only in California, I think the whole country. That's got to be a major goal. And lastly, you know, don't be a one-trick pony. The ethanol industry. Let's look at new markets. Let's see the ethanol industry break into these new markets. You hear a lot about sustainable aviation fuel, green chemicals, alternatives to diesel and heavy duty vehicles. I just think over the next year, I want to see at least one of these segments take off and provide new demand for ethanol. That's got to be key. It's frustrating sometimes when many in our industry are focused on just producing more gallons, but there's so many new markets out there beyond a gallon, and the power of an ethanol and that kernel of corn that goes into the ethanol plant can be used in so many different ways. I really want to see some expansion there as well, and happy to be a catalyst to help that move forward.
Well, coming up in 2025, we have the 30th National Ethanol Conference in Nashville, and I guess it'll be your 29th year, but we'll call it your 30th anniversary, with the theme Back to Our Roots. What does that theme mean to you, and what do you think have been some of the greatest accomplishments of the ethanol industry over the past 30 years?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. So 29 years ago, when I attended the second National Ethanol Conference in Chicago, um, the ethanol industry was very small, and it was focused around different things than we're focused today. There's always been this, when I see back to the roots, and it reminds me of where we were, 29, 30 years ago. But I think it's important to recognize something that maybe some people forget. It's just the deep, deep, deep connection between ethanol, and agriculture. Ethanol production, I'll say, has been I don't know how to say it, a lifeline for farmers. I mean, it transformed the ag economy and is providing just unprecedented prosperity, I think, over the last few decades. I think it's something that we need to recognize and continue to talk about. I mean, it's such a big part, but what we've been able to do, not only in our industry, but the power of agriculture and the power of the farmer is amazing. I brag about it when I travel to different places around the world. Don't count the farmer out. And the other thing that I guess we should talk about is the accomplishments over the last 30 years. Think about it. It's nothing short of remarkable. It stands as one of I think, the greatest examples of value-added agriculture in our history. Ethanol has demonstrated what's possible when the right mix of public policy, private sector, innovation, and when they all come together. The expansion of E15, SAF, green chemicals on the horizon, this industry future looks even more promising than it did in the past. And I see us growing even faster over the next 30 years, or the next 10 years, really, than we have in the last 30 years. I'm excited about the National Ethanol Conference coming up. 30 years, this is amazing. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to enjoy ourselves and do some celebrating. So, and I'll be looking for those that were there in Chicago 29 years ago for me. And there aren't many of us that are still coming to this conference, but I'm excited to celebrate that.
And it's not too early to start thinking about the National Ethanol Conference in Nashville, Tennessee, February 17th through the 19th, 2025. Registration's already open. Just go to nationalethanolconference.com. And Jeff, that's all the specific questions I have for you. Anything else you want to add?
Looking forward to working with the RFA and leading the organization. I mean, they've done some amazing things, like I said, over the years, and we've got some great folks on the board, great members in the organization, and encourage those who maybe aren't a part of the RFA to have another look at the RFA. We've got some great plans into the future, and we're doing wonderful, wonderful things. I would like to say before I go is that I want to thank Eric Hushin, who was the chairman before me, and he did some amazing work the last 2 years, and he'll be a tough act to follow. But looking forward to pushing the industry forward together.
All right. Thank you very much to Jeff Oestmann, the new chairman of the Renewable Fuels Association Board. If you'd like more information about RFA, just go to ethanolrfa.org. And that's the Ethanol Report. Thanks for listening.